What's up, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. Cam here with Forest Hog Outdoors. What we're getting into today, some IBC tote bladders. What I've got behind me are 8 or so IBC bladders. These originally had mulch dye in them. They've been sitting here for a little bit over a week now. There was some residue in it. It's all dry now. They're ready to cut. So first and foremost, you're going to get these totes in mainly 2 different sizes. I've seen them in some strange configurations, but for the most part, you got this one, which is a large tote, 330 gallon, and then you've got one that's a touch smaller at 275 gallon. These ones right here, they measure 48 inches from the bottom to the top of this rail, roughly. You got to keep in mind, these things get banged up with forklifts. They're usually holding dye or some kind of liquid, so they're very heavy. They get banged around, so these measurements might be a bit different depending on how rough they were with your individual tote. But they're not perfect squares, they're rectangle, and this one is measuring 38 inches by 45, we'll call it 46, because that top piece is bent in a little bit. If you do the math on that, that's going to be like 46 to 47 cubic feet that this is going to hold. So that's the volume of this container. If you know firewood, you know that one face cord or 1/3 of a cord is 42.6667 or whatever the number is cubic feet. So that means that this right here, neatly stacked, will hold just over a face cord. But you'll see most guys come in here and they cut a slot out of this so that they can get in and neatly stack, you know, all the way to the other side. Usually they're doing it on the long end, not the skinny end. Makes things easier. But I'm gonna go a different route today. I'm not gonna cut these at all, actually, because these are just over a face cord. If you loosely stack into these, you're gonna get a full face cord. You know, you might have to go just a touch higher than the side rails here, but you will get over a face cord just throwing stuff in here. You don't need a tool or anything to rip these panels off, just probably some gloves. But these things are pretty malleable or held on by one pin. All you gotta do is bend the tops. And you pop it right off. Don't waste a Sawzall blade cutting that. I'm leaving this as is, and we'll get to the bladders. First one I'm gonna do is the simplest. What it's gonna be is just a regular flat top roof. So we're gonna cut, I don't know, roughly 6 inches off the top. You can place it right over your wood, and everything's gonna stay dry. I really don't have any use for the cap being on top, so what I'm going to do is flop it around and cut the bottom. I got a string line and I got a straight line, 4-foot level here. If you're a real neat freak and you want perfect cuts, feel free to use them. So there are a couple of lines in here from where these supports were sitting. I'm just going to follow those and freehand it. I'm already running quite a bit. So as you're going, it's pinching a little bit. If you had another helping hand, probably help out quite a bit. I don't. As usual, as you can see, this one was brown. Classic. Let's not do that again. All right, so here's what we're left with. Sun will be beating down in here, kind of like a little greenhouse. Number 1, done. As you can see, maybe I should have drew some straight lines. All right, I'm gonna try and mitigate my waste here. So let's get this one flipped over. We'll reuse the other side as well. A couple of these totes on the end are real dirty. So if I can get all the tops I need out of these, I won't have to dive into those, get all black mulched up again. We are gonna run a wood with nails blade and see if that cuts any better. All right, so this is more of the same from the bottom of that first tote. I'm gonna put it on here the incorrect way just so it stays. I said, so it stays. Just like the first one, however, we got the cap on top now. I suppose you could open that and let air flow through it, just like on the last one, except that's not gonna stop any rain from coming in. The whole reason we're doing this is to, you know, ensure these aren't getting wet. So it's kind of counterintuitive to have a hole right in the top. So as of right now, I like the valve on top. I was filming and I don't know, my camera overheated or something, but I did go ahead and cut a larger top off this. So still a flat top, but it's going to be extended, right? Instead of going 6 inches, we went more like, oh, it looks like 18 inches, maybe closer to 2 feet. So let me show you what that one looks like. Are you too good for your home? Just stay, dude. If you don't even care about how much wood's in here, you just want to stack as much as possible, I think you could probably extend this even further. Stack your wood neatly in here and then plop that on top, and that'll kind of, even if you hit some bumps while you're forking this up to your house, your front porch, your back porch, your garage, whatever, that'll keep the wood in. Get a drill out, put a couple holes in here, zip tie it, find some way to fasten it to this, and that wood's going to stay in there for sure. I think I'm going to have a use for this right here. Look at this. Like a glove. What I'm going to do is, just in case any rainwater, now that we're not covered, sits in here, throw a pallet down under there, throw a pallet underneath it so I can come up and pick it up. And I have a whole bunch of smoking wood. So I'll even cut them smaller than this, depends what these guys want, but these are great for offset smokers, and I never really have a good place to keep them. You put them in a tote and they fall out the sides, so I get frustrated, but I think if you power wash that, so you make sure you're not dyeing your wood black, brown, what have you, red, be a great place to keep them. They're not going to be covered, so you know, you might want to put them under an overhang or something, but you know, we can't be wasting stuff. All right, next up I'm going to go with a roof, a pitched roof. Cut diagonally here. Man, that's pretty perfect straight line, right? Just for a guide, and obviously we'll be cutting there, straight over here, and then again diagonally on the back, which should give us 2 roofs, which should fit over our tote. So I figured out the trick here is to cut at an angle. If you're cutting flat, it just binds up on this plastic. Obviously the top gravity is just pulling it down and mushing up your saw blade. So the longer the blade seems to be the better, and keep it at this angle instead of cutting you know, more perpendicular to the tote. So if you cut the other way, you're not going to have to deal with that that plug there at the bottom. Didn't think about that. got a nice little pitched roof here. What's up, fellas? So another plus of this is that you're going to be using the entire tote, so there's going to be no waste. You don't have to worry about you know, cutting it up into little pieces and seeing if your town takes it. All right, so those are all the options I could think of. I think right now I'm going to lean toward the roofs. Obviously you can't stack on top of each other, but you really can't as soon as you put one of these on either. So one quick cut, yeah, you're tussling with this thing and spinning it, but I think that's the ticket. You won't have to throw anything out. So I'm going to break down the rest of these for the rest of my totes, and I'm going to have a couple of TPs out back sitting there until I get some more totes. I'm interested to see actually if they fit on a 275. All right, boys, so here we are in the side yard. We got the 275 gallon totes. They're all full of hard maple. This one's half full of cherry. Let's slap on these 330 gallon bladders and see how they stack up. All right, first one, we got the shorty. Okay, so these are full of wood, so they're not going to fall through. It looks like they're same dimensions. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, boys. The roofline model fits too, just like a glove. So I've got a couple totes, maybe 4 or 5 left back there. I'm going to cut 2 roofs out of each one of them, and then I've got some cages back here. I've got maybe 15 cages full of wood that need to get covered. They're half underneath my roof line. They're half outside of my roof line. I'm running out of wood, room for wood. So I'll cut the rest into these roof line. That's the one that I'm going to like the best. And I'll put roofs on all of these. I will save these ones because I already cut like 3 or 4 of them. When I get too tiered over there, right, I can't fit a roof underneath the gutter there. I'll be hitting, so I'll slap these on top. But yeah, I know I said I didn't like these in the beginning, but look at that, official. I dig it. All right, fellas, well, here you have it. Here's all your options. I'll run through them real quick. Pros, cons, plus, minus. We got here the 2 short flat tops, one with the cap on, one with the valve on. These are good because they're easy. It's one cut and you're done. Throw away the rest. Actually, it's one cut on top, one cut on bottom. You've got 2 caps out of one tote. I do like having a functional valve on top. Maybe you let a little bit of air in, as opposed to having a cap. If you open this up, it's going to let water in. Then we moved on to the high top fade, right? So this is going to be good for somebody that has the lift capacity. Again, this is just, I don't know, maybe 18 inches, 16 to 18 inches, but you can extend this on until you kind of lose that rigidity from the cap. And you could fit as much wood as you want, as long as you find a way to securely fasten this to the top here. I think it would behoove somebody doing this style to cut a hole in here to reach in and stack. That way you wouldn't be trying to pop the top off and breaking zip ties every time. Then we moved to the roof structure. Actually, I didn't think I liked this one, but actually I think this one's the ticket, man. You got overhang, so there's going to be absolutely no water getting in there, as opposed to these where they are meant to fit inside of the tote, right? So you're going to get water dripping on the face of the wood all the way up and down. Another good plus about this thing is that it's one cut. Use both rooftops, and that's the entire tote. There's no cleanup. There's no, you know, cutting this stuff into breakable strips and getting rid of it. And then when you're cutting the 2 small tops, you're going to have a little bit of excess left. I don't want to waste it. It's not like you can burn this stuff in the old fire pit out back. That's frowned upon. So yeah, I think this is usually it's last but not least, but this is certainly last and least. I don't think this is really good for anything other than trying to save the bonus, right? The breakdown. Here, you put a pallet underneath, you put a pallet on top, all your cutoffs, all your junk wood, all your round stuff that you're burning in your house, put it in here. I'm interested to see how much you could really stack this before it starts, again, losing its rigidity. All right, fellas, well, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, give me a big fat thumbs down. Okay, I tried. I did my best. It's not much, but it's honest work. Do me a favor, and if you like this stuff, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. And do me another favor. Get out there, Go make friends with your local landscapers, these guys making mulch, selling mulch. Go get you some free IBC totes. It's worth the work, it's worth the mess. As you can see, what do they say? Don't wear gloves and you won't need them. That's it. Until next time, fellas. Thanks for watching.